Tuesday. All right. So homework 4 is the metric system, and they call it dimensional analysis. It's really just a very fancy word for converting units. So it's, but the metric system, I think most of y'all know these now, but you've got kind of like whatever your unit is in the middle. And then you put a prefix on it to tell you whether you're going bigger or smaller. So like the smaller ones, you've got desa, and then centa, and then milla. So basically, whenever you move to the left, well, these are all smaller, so your number needs to get bigger. So all you're going to do, if you're moving to the left on that deal, you're going to move the decimal place to the right to make the number bigger. And same thing, you can go the other way. There's deca. Thing ain't writing. Okay, well, I'm waiting for my thing to start writing. What comes after deca? That's the hard one. Everybody remembers the one after that, though.
Kilo's the one after that.
Yeah, kilo's the big one. The middle one, I think it's like tenta or something. It's something with an H. I don't actually. I've never used it in my life. So, and if you go on and if you like take a bunch of science courses, really the ones that get used in science are the milli, the centa, the kilo, and then all the multiples of 3 after that. So we won't do them in this class, but there's micro is 6 places to the left. There's nano, which is 9. There's also pico and femto if you keep going that way. If you go the other way, these you use because of computers. You go past kilo, you have mega, and then you go past mega. What comes after mega?
Giga.
Giga. Yep.
Tera after giga.
Yeah, tera's after giga. So, but in this class, we're just going to stick with all these guys. Again, I don't remember what the 100 one is, but.
So there's not going to be any questions about the 100 one?
Well, actually, it's easy because of the thing they usually, they tell you all those. So, okay. And then the rest of them, I mean, hopefully you've kind of learned these at some point in the past. So you know 12 inches are in a foot. How many feet are in a yard? 3 feet in a yard. How many feet are in a mile?
1,1260 or something like that.
Okay, 1,760 is yards in a mile. Yeah, 3 times that, which is 5,280 feet in a mile. So those, I imagine y'all are fairly familiar with, but what about like weight? How many ounces are in a pound? That's good stuff. Okay, so that's weight. What about volume? How many ounces are in a cup? There's 4 pints in a, no, what is it? 4 quarts in a gallon. That's what I wanted to say.
The cup is that 8 ounces?
Cup is 8 ounces. All right. Yeah, you hear your 8 ounce glass of water every day or whatever. So that's a 1 cup glass of water. So, and then there's 2 cups in a pint, 2 pints in a quart. So anyway, those, I mean, hopefully you've seen them at some point in the past, but yeah, that's, if not, they're not that hard. So there we are. So 42 inches to feet. Yeah, 3.5 feet. The only thing that can trip you up on these, I mean, basically on every one of these questions, it's either multiply by a number or divide by a number. And you can get confused by that pretty easy, but the easiest thing to do is just think, okay, well, if you're going, I mean, a foot is bigger than an inch. Yeah. Well, you're kind of saying the opposite of what I was going to say, but that's okay. I mean, we're going from a small unit to a bigger unit, which means the number needs to get smaller. So it's like if the unit's getting bigger, the number gets smaller, so you divide. But yeah, anyway, it's two ways of saying the same thing. It's like, okay, there's no way that, say it another way, if I multiplied by 12 instead of divide, I get like 400 and something. There's no way 42 inches is the same as 400 feet. So if you stop and ask yourself after every question, does this seem reasonable at all? Then it's really pretty hard to mess up. So, all right. So like I said, you have all those. So it just says HM. It doesn't say what it stands for. I don't remember what it stands for, but yeah, anyway, it has them all there. So 6 meters to centimeters. Yeah. Which apparently we just knew that, but if you wanted to use the chart, you say, okay, well, if I start here in the middle, and centimeters on the right, it says multiply by 10 for each on the right. I'm going 2 spots, so I just add 2 zeros to it. Dude, the metric system is so much easier than. Okay, 0.19 millimeters to meters. So if I start at millimeters, I'm going to meters. Am I moving the decimal to the left or to the right? Yeah. Exactly. So 0.0000. Cool. We're tearing through this one. Okay, centimeters to inches. So if I look over here, 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. So I'm either multiplying by 2.54 or I'm dividing by it.
Will the test have like the conversion table for us there too?
Yes.
So that stuff.
I'm pretty sure all the ones on the test have the conversion table. That is the one thing I will warn you about. A few of the homework problems, the word problems, don't. Make sure you write down the conversion table that they use because, like, or for example, like square miles to square kilometers, I think they use 2.6 instead of, but if you look it up on Google, it's 2.5 or whatever. I don't remember what it is, but anyway. So make sure that as you're working through the homework, write down the conversions they actually use just to be on the safe side. But okay, so again, we're going from a small unit to a big unit. I mean, so since an inch is bigger than a centimeter, our number needs to get smaller. So 20. So am I going to divide by 2.54 or multiply? Yeah, I'm going to divide. So grab my calculator. 24 divided by 2.54. Boom. 9.45. Okay, sure, let's do one more. So a mile is 1.6 kilometers. Am I multiplying or dividing? Multiplying. Which again, another way you could figure that out if you weren't sure. Well, let me go ahead and do it and then I'll say that. 2A3 times 1.6 is 452.8. I mean, a way you can double check yourself is, I mean, especially because the table's right here, you can say, okay, 1 mile is 1.6 kilometers. 1 is smaller than 1.6. So if I look at my answer, the mile number should be smaller than the kilometer number. And sure enough, it is. So that says, hey, we must have done the right thing. Okay. Ah. So now is where it gets a little bit trickier because we're having to convert two things. We're having to convert miles to kilometers, and we're having to convert, actually, no, we're not. They're both in hours, aren't they?
Yeah.
Are you just trying to open the door? Or
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you just turn it, opens, it just sticks. Okay. So since they're both in per hour, you can kind of just ignore the per hour. Just say, okay, what's 93 kilometers in terms of miles? Yep. Divide by 1.6. This is refreshing after that horrible algebra stuff, isn't it?
It's nice to have a snoozer.
Yeah. Okay. It says you're converting 533.4 centimeters to yards, and it tells you 1 yard is 36 inches and 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. So let's write those down. So it says use the 36 inches is the same as 1 yard, and 2.54 centimeters is the same as 1 inch. And we're starting with 533.4 centimeters. All you do, if you want to use the conversion factor, that's kind of the fancy way to do all this stuff. It's really just think about what you got and think about where you want to wind up. So I start in centimeters, I want to wind up in yards, right? I've got a centimeter on top that I don't want. So I look at all my conversion factors, I find a centimeter. So which one has a centimeter in it? Yeah, the second one. Since I've got a centimeter in top, to get rid of it, I need to put a centimeter on bottom. So I'm going to write this thing upside down. That way the centimeter will be on bottom. So this is 1 inch per 2.54 centimeters. So that gets rid of my centimeters. So now I've got inches on top, which I don't want. I want to wind up with yards. So to get rid of inches on top, I need to put inches on bottom. Exactly. So 1 yard over 36 inches. And now I'm left with yards on top. And hey, I was looking for yards on top. So that's all good. So now you just, everything on top you multiply, and then divide by everything on bottom. So 533.4 times 1, and then divided by 36 and divided by 2.54. It's 5.83. Sure, let's do one more like that with the conversion factors. Okay, we're wanting to go from miles to kilometers. Okay, so we got several things involved, but